These people have been totally devastated. We're just trying to give them a little bit of help as much as we can.
Team Rubicon is amazing when it comes to this kind of work. You've been through it before, you'll be through it again.
Have the energy to go forward because this is a massive undertaking. This is the most that I've smiled since the storm. Thank you, Team Rubicon.
Just saying that if he resisted Maria before he was reinforced, there's nothing that can bring it down now except for God.
We'll get some information from triage. We'll have basic information.
Hey, South Branch. Welcome back. Happy 2023. I hope that everyone had a great and rewarding days off if you were taking days off. I hope that those of you guys who were deployed either over the holiday season or are deployed right now have been killing it out there in the field and also had some time on the front of the back to change your socks. But welcome back. It is a brand new year. And as our wrap-up video indicated, we had a killer 2022. We are super excited for all of the stuff that we are looking forward to in 2023. So this is our official kickoff. It is the second Tuesday of the month. It is 2000 Eastern, 1900 Central. This is your South Branch Monthly All Hands. And this All Hands in particular is obviously a little special, not just because it is the start of the year, the start of a brand new cycle of disaster response, of getting into the field and getting shit done, but it is Go Day week, my friends. I know that we've talked about this on our previous calls. I know that there are a bunch of killer events set up all around the branch, all around the country, for folks to plug in. But quick summary, if you are new to these calls or if you just need a refresher, Go Day is the annual organizational anniversary. It refers back to our founding in 2010. In 2010, everyone will recall, in January, there was an earthquake in Haiti. We are looking at 13 years since that earthquake struck Port-au-Prince. Devastating earthquake. Thousands of people were injured and killed in that event. And a group of 8 Marines and emergency responders, medical doctors, made a simple decision in the wake of that earthquake. They decided that they would go, that they would deploy and they would assist folks in need with the skills that they had at hand and see what they could do. And that group called themselves Team Rubicon. And ever since then, we have looked back at the anniversary of that date, which was the 13th of January, and we honor it as our Go Day. So all across the branch, I know that everyone has been looking at the calendar, has plugged into local events. We're going to do a quick round robin of those, but first I did just want to share on this commitment anniversary, Clay Hunt's message of service. If you folks don't know the story of Clay Hunt, Clay Hunt was one of those original 8 volunteers who raised their hand. He's one of the plank holders in this organization and our founding members. He was one of the squad mates of Jake and Will. And Clay, had a lot of thoughts on service, devoted himself to giving back after he returned from the Marines. He had this to share with everyone. If I had one thing to say to my fellow veterans, it would be this: continue to serve, even though we have taken off our uniforms. No matter how great or small your service is, it is desired and needed by the world we live in today. Volunteer to mow your elderly neighbor's lawn for them. Spend a day at a soup kitchen helping feed the homeless, many of whom are veterans themselves. Work on a trail maintenance project or start a service organization. It doesn't matter what it is. It only matters that you're continuing to put others before yourself, just like you did in the military. Actions like this are the only sure way to bring about the positive social change that our country and our world need so badly these days. It's been 13 years since Clay wrote those words. I think they ring just as true for all of us today as they did when he wrote them. And so we will be sharing this message along with others with everyone at our Go Day events around the country as we recommit ourselves to another year of service of our country and our fellow man and woman wherever they may be if they are in need and we have the ability to help. So that being said, we're going to do a quick look around the branch at some of the events that Gray Shirts will be plugging into. And hopefully it inspires you, if you are able to attend one of these events, to strap on your gray shirt, get out there in the field. And if you're not able to attend, to take on another act of service this weekend in commemoration of our organizational anniversary. And so we are going to start off with a return to an area that we were responding to earlier this year in Eastern Kentucky. I'm going to pass it to my friend Kate.
Hello, everybody, and happy Go Day week. I am excited to announce Operation Hollerback. Operation Hollerback will be our return to Letcher County, Kentucky, where 15 Gray Shirts are excited and honored to go back to build another footbridge. So we are going to continue to bridge the gap there in Eastern Kentucky by building a footbridge that will allow access to 3 different homes. So we're going to celebrate Go Day in a big way. Forecast calls for snow, but you guys know that never stops us in this geographic area. Come snow, Hades, or high water, we're going to continue to get stuff done here in this geo for celebrating Go Day. Really excited to have a lot of folks who have been to the Eastern Kentucky Op for Appalachian Spirit to actually return to give yet again in the Commonwealth. So can't wait to show you guys content from our snowy bridge build here on Go Day weekend. Thanks, Drew.
Thanks so much, Kate. It just wouldn't be January if we didn't have Gray Shirts deployed in Kentucky. And next, we're going to go down south, but not where you're thinking. I believe Justin is going to tell me all about the West Palm Beach service project happening this weekend.
Hey, everybody, and happy Go Day Eve. Is that right? I don't know. We have an awesome project coming up this weekend. This is a Korea veteran, and through some channels, it was discovered his home was uninhabitable. And the downward spiral started in 2017 with a small leak in the roof from whatever the heck hurricane that was when we responded to it. I forget what it was, Op Sunshine Strong. Small leak in the roof, but it was never repaired. And a Meals on Wheels representative got a peek in the door and realized the horrid conditions this poor person was living in. The city got involved, unfortunate, don't worry, the government's coming to help you type situation. But the city, we have a great relationship. They reached out to Team Rubicon, said, listen, we have to evict this gentleman. What can Team Rubicon do? Well, it's not really our wheelhouse, but they at least went in the right direction, and through resources through Team Rubicon, we found a shelter for the entire family. And now we're partnered up with Habitat for Humanity. We're going to go in there and we're going to muck the heck out of this home. And Habitat for Humanity is coming in shortly after us, and we're going to work with them again and rebuild the whole thing. We're taking everything out of the interior, all walls, all floors, all ceilings, everything, because it was discovered the gentleman, his family had moved on, but the gentleman was living underneath a tarp in his living room. So we are thrilled to be part of this project, to be part of a project that the city of Boca Raton, Florida, asked us to help with, and helping a veteran and helping his family out. And of course, we're going to have our cake. We're going to all meet at Mission Barbecue for a social and get our Team Rubicon campfire going on at Mission Barbecue. So that's what we got going on. Thanks.
It's an incredible event, and love looking back at the recovery aspect of that, even as obviously a lot of other things going on in Florida. Next, we're going to shift over to Texas, and all of our friend Oscar is going to tell us what we're doing near Austin. Oscar, tell me about Williamson County.
Williamson County. Hey, my name's Oscar. Get to work with South Branch Field Readiness, and most of the time I'm talking about field readiness. We're about making field leaders ready. If that's you in 2023, come join us. But today we're looking at the way Texas celebrates Go Day, and that's with a fire mitigation op. You can kind of read some of the things on the slide there, but I'll tell you, we're trying to do a couple different things here. We're trying to continue to engage with this community. We've been here before. We're going back again. And we're going to try to continue to connect with them with some engaged gray shirts. We are providing some high quality, and if you can see how much money we'll save them, some very efficient fire mitigation services that will help that community and help the wildlife, the endangered wildlife within that community there. As kind of part of this, we're trying to increase the deployable gray shirts in this area. We're seeing lots of new folks sign up. And so that's a great thing. We want to start them the right way. We want them to see what right looks like at the beginning of the year and go forward to that. And so to that extent, we've got some embedded training. Embedded training in an op is a great thing. You can see some of the classes that we'll be offering as part of this mitigation operation. And basically, bottom line, we're trying to build a bench because we know we have a year's worth of great service to do when disaster strikes. And so we want to increase our bench. We want to increase the quantity and the quality of TR leadership. Gray shirt. So we're going to be doing that this week. And you want to be part of that, not too late to sign up. And hope to see you all there or some other operation. That's it. Thank you. Back to you, Drew.
Thanks so much, Oscar. And folks, not an accident that these are some of the ones we hit on. Recovery work, mitigation work, operational training. These are themes you're going to hear us hit on again and again over the year as we look to engage the full spectrum of disasters across these communities. As Oscar said, build the bench while we create impact on the ground, and look to just overall make ourselves a more nimble, a more capable, and a more fully deployable disaster response organization. But there's also that 800-pound gorilla in the room, Sunshine Strong. At one point, almost 400 people on the ground every day serving the great state of Florida after the devastating impacts of Hurricane Ian. Still running this week. We will have gray shirts, and I'm going to pass it over to Jen to give us some updates live from Florida. Jen, what you got for us?
Hi, I'm Jen. I have people out there that are saying, hi, Jen. Hi, Jen. Hi. So, yeah, I'm here in the American Legion 103 here in Punta Gorda, Florida. And we are, in fact, wrapping up Sunshine Strong Lee County disaster response. We'll be closing out this weekend, so we will spend Go Day going strong. We have had a great week since I've been here. We still have jobs. We're still getting out there. There are still homes that need help. One of the great things that I can tell you is that they are working really hard on some future plans. I don't know if I'm letting a cat out of a bag, but meow. They're working on a long-term recovery project I don't know the details of, but the Legion here, as was stated in the chat, I believe he's the commandant, put out a message to the entire American Legion that they are to help specifically Team Rubicon, but also other veteran led volunteer organizations in our missions. And to that end, they have agreed to let us use some of the land here at this particular site to go forward with things that we might be able to do in the future. They've been super helpful, super kind, super generous, and we just had a campfire here tonight, and I actually just came in a little early from the campfire. And for those of you who haven't been out on an operation and haven't had a campfire, I hope that you get the opportunity to do that. And I hope that at these Go Day events, you will have some sort of a campfire, whether it's a fan blowing up orange streamers, a fire, or just a group of you sitting around chatting with each other. The connections and the relationships that we build in Team Rubicon are part of what makes us who we are. It's part of what makes us strong. It's part of what makes us nimble and able to get out there and do the things that we do. The things that we do together in Team Rubicon are unmatched, unparalleled because of the connections that we make with each other in the amount of time that we make them. So I am super proud to be out here. I'm super proud to be a part of this organization. And hey, here's to another year of getting shit done.
Couldn't have said it any better than that. Thank you, Jen. Love having you out there to help close us out. I know you and Kurt are sort of tag teaming the shutdown and having two South Branch's fiercest faces close out one of our longest ops. Just nothing better than that. So yeah, folks, in summation, right? It's been 13 incredible years of work and service as an organization, but we are looking to make the 14th the best yet. So that is something we are asking everyone to do, right? We are looking forward at another year of service, another year of opportunity to go out into the world, find problems, find challenges, solve them for people who need them solved, and make it better. So if it's going to one of these events, please sign up, get out there, meet some fellow gray shirts, high five each other, give each other a hug, whatever your covert comfort level is, and commit yourselves as a group. If you're not able to do that, if there's nothing else going around you, put on your gray shirt, go help your community, make a phone call, recruit somebody new, or just take some online trainings. But whether it's big or small, please take this weekend and recommit yourselves to service. If you're not tracking, there is a Friday campfire. It is happening at 1700 Eastern, 1600 Central. Art will be hosting that, and it will be a national audience. So he will just be talking about a lot of the things that we are talking about, the significance of the anniversary, and he'll be having some special recognition and call outs. So excited for that. Hope to see you all there and hope to see some of your faces at an event this weekend. Moving on from Go Day, onward and upward, though, I've talked a lot about what a great year this is going to be, and how excited I am to see and hang out with all of you. And what better place to do it and way to do it than having our first branch in-person leadership conference. Doesn't get any better than that. So you see on there some of the key dates. I know we sent out the expression of interest last month. Thanks to everyone who took the time to fill that out. Super helpful for allowing us to plan and make the reservations. I can reveal to all of you now that both the leadership conference and Patriot itself will be at Camp Shelby there in Mississippi. So it's your one-stop shop for South Branch training. We will start off with our leadership skill development and then shift into the practical field-based exercises, run chainsaws and heavy equipment alongside the National Guard and their simulated disaster exercise. It's going to be an awesome event. If you can't attend both, totally get it, but would love to have all of you at one or the other. Did get some questions out of the communication last month, so just wanted to take a moment to help clarify some of those things. So the expression of interest everyone filled out last month is not your formal registration. Like I said, that was just a planning tool for us, so we kind of knew how many folks to expect and what they were hoping to see on the ground. The actual registration is going to take place in EMS. So if you all registered for TRLC last year, very similar to that, will be a combination of registering in EMS and then utilizing a SharePoint page to put out information about tracks, maps, everything that's going on. That'll be sort of our single source of truth for all things South Branch Leadership Conference and Patriot. We will be sending that invitation to all of you on February 6th. That means even if you were not able, for whatever reason, to fill out the expression of interest, you are still able to sign up for the conference when that opens on February 6th. It also means if you filled out the expression of interest, we still need you to register. If you only do the expression of interest and you don't register in EMS, you will not be joining us. We will not send you plane tickets, not because we don't want you there, just because we won't realize that you want to go out and play with us. So please, when we push that out next month, sign up. We will be beating you over the head with messaging around it, but just be ready for that. That registration will be open for approximately 2 weeks. So it'll close on February 17th. That'll give our MOB friends about a week to get the booking and dispatch done. The reason we're booking so far out is, one, this is going to be a lot of flights. Doing it in Hattiesburg means that most of us don't live within 450 miles. So a lot of folks will be traveling by air. We want to bring that cost down by booking in advance. And the other thing is just making sure that we can get all of the information on attendees to the National Guard so that they can do their piece on the administrative side. So be ready for all of that. The actual conference going live, like I said, from the 24th to 26th, and then rolling directly into that Patriot exercise on the 27th. So lots more to come on all of that. But I'm going to do a little hot handoff to our master of training, Jeff Branham, and he's going to describe some, not all, but some of what awaits those who attend. Jeff, over to you, sir.
Yeah, hey everybody. Yeah, I'm super excited that we've got these events coming up. It has been far too long since we have done this as a branch. So the leadership conference right now, we're looking at having 2 different tracks. There's going to be a leadership track, which is going to have things like event management. We're going to have, some conversations about how to communicate across different groups of people. Operations is going to focus on things like field services. We're going to have talking to media. So things that we're actually going to be out and using. We really tried to find things that would engage and interest everyone and not the same old that we get every time we see each other. Patriot South, I am very excited about this. We are actually going to kick off Patriot with a tabletop exercise in person, put on by the wonderful and illustrious Greg Ramoni and his exercise team. We're going to roll from that straight into some command and general staff. Hesitate to use the word training, but command and general staff familiarization, expanding everyone's knowledge, kind of pushing the envelope a little bit on what we think we know. We are going to be doing some EOC coordination with the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency. They have been gracious and allowed us some access to their areas, so we will have Great communication there. I'm happy to say we are going to be having a command and control course, also known to some people as C2. More to follow on all of this, but I am looking very excited to doing all of this. Yes, thank you, Kate. Workshop. Back
Jeff,
to you, Drew.
I'm really disappointed you didn't read the title of this slide aloud because I was looking forward to watching you try to get that mouthful out.
It is the Mississippi Magnolia Madness in the month of March and a little bit of April.
I'll say that 6 more times, but faster.
I will do that in my head.
All right. Well, hey, thank you, Jeff. And thank you again to everyone who signed up for that expression of interest. Lots more communication to come about all of this. And again, still looking for some help with the planning and rollout of all of these events. So if you have a little creativity and free time to give, please reach out and we will get you plugged in on the planning team. But overall, super excited to see everyone in March. We are next going to roll into, so we talked at the beginning of this call about how we are rolling out into 2023, but quick snapshot of where we ended 2022 because it's going to inform the next part of this conversation. So just want everybody to see some of the metrics that we are looking at as a leadership team, and some of the things that we are charting as we look at the year ahead. So you can see here, these are the overall client metrics for the year. You can see on the disaster side, so that's the domestic response that most of this team is deploying to and mostly familiar with, just over 10,000 individuals served. And then you see on the right-hand side there that Net Promoter Score, telling us basically how people felt about the work that we did. Overall, our Net Promoter Score is excellent. At 80% Net Promoter Score is telling us that a lot of folks really like what we do for them, but we're still trying to chase those ones who didn't quite understand what we were going to deliver, or perhaps we're hoping we could do more than we did. And then also looking at our overall volunteer gray shirt experience. What are the numbers of folks that we have? How do they feel about their experience as a volunteer? What are the numbers of volunteer leaders that we have? And how do they feel about their experience as volunteer leaders in this organization? So this is the data set that we looked at. And now I'm going to take the microphone and pass it to our fearless leader, Son Walker, and he is going to set out for this whole team our goals for 2023. Son, over to you, sir.
Hey, thanks, Drew. And you always do a great job in facilitating these calls. And, looking forward to what we're going to do on Go Day, guys. There's some great projects out there. We have over 100 plus people on this call. Hope to see a lot of people sign up for some of the great work that the branch associates and our operations support team has put together for you guys to partake in. So I'm hoping that you guys get involved with that. Also looking forward to seeing you guys at our South Branch Leadership Conference in Patriot 23. We're gonna have some awesome stuff, as you heard from Jeff going on. We have Jeff and a tremendous team in the South Branch that are building that program for you. So I'm hoping that you guys join us. This will be my first South Branch Leadership Conference, so I'm looking forward to having a good time, getting some good knowledge, meeting all you beautiful people on this call, and getting to know you a little bit more in person. So as we transition, we talked about what some of the great accomplishments we've done in 2022. And what I want to go over, just a quick overview, and we'll go into more details in a small group environment so we can facilitate some questions as well. But I just want to go over this, and this is our 2023 goals as we look at our operation goals and log frames for the operation. So when we look at what we want to do, is we want to make sure that we're connected to communities with engaged gray shirts, are better prepared for the disasters and recovery more quickly. So what I wanted to do is just show you what the impact statement is that you can read there. And this is across all the branches within inside of operations, is we want to impact 1,000 communities across the country. And some of the outcomes, I don't want to read them all, but I'll read the first couple. Reduce community vulnerabilities to lessen impact from disasters, better prepare communities. And that's what we do, and so forth and so on, making sure that we're serving more individuals and communities, grow our workforce, and then you'll see we want to make sure Team Rubicon is the place to volunteer. Next slide. Now, so what I wanted to go over is our 9 activities, and so and what I also put on here, and you'll see in the small writing, is the outputs from those activities, and that's what we're calling them. So we want to conduct high quality, efficient service and deliveries. And so I told you guys that we'll get into more of the details. You'll see some of the KPIs on here that I want us to discuss as we go through these. And then when we get into that more of a smaller audience, we'll go into the actual target goals. So when we look at conduct high quality and efficient service and deliveries, we're looking at the output. So we want to make sure that we enhance and increase our cooperations, increase what we're doing in response. But we also want to make sure that we're following up on those responses and recovery, and then also get a little bit more proficient in mitigation. So we're going to be having some good KPIs on those as well. So we'll be looking at the number of mitigations that have been approved by operations per branch. We'll be looking at the mitigation that have been, the work orders that have been done by each one of the branches. We'll look at also the cost of some of the work orders. And as I said before, you'll see a lot of these, and I don't want to go, it's about 12 on this list, how we're going to look at the KPI. So a couple more, the number of responses of operation work orders, the population of the response that we've served. And so those are the kind of things that we're going to be looking at the KPIs as we improve or enhance the conduct of high quality efficient service and deliveries. Next slide. Now, we want to make sure that we exercise Team Rubicon and community plans. And so what we're talking about there is that somewhat similar to what we're doing with Patriot 23. We're going to be doing so many different exercises within those 10 days, but we're also going to be working with external partners. So what we're trying to do is to make sure that we work a little bit more with the exercise team, and you guys heard Greg. So we're going to be doing more tabletop exercises. We want to make sure that we're really proficient at what we do when we look at disaster response and humanitarian missions that we're conducting in the communities that we serve. We want to enhance our participants' readiness and increase our ability to operate a little bit more fluently and more efficiently and more streamlined. And so when we look at exercise, we're going to be measuring about 6 things. So I'll give you a couple. So we're going to be exercising number of exercises conducted by Team Rubicon, the number of gray shirts. We want to increase the number of gray shirts over month, and we'll be measuring that by month, month over month. So reason why we talk about the Patriot 23, and the reason why we want you guys to get involved with it, we want you guys to see what we're doing out there. We want you guys to be involved in it. And then we don't just want to look at those big exercises. We want to make sure we're doing those in those small geographical regions as well. So the next one is increase deployable gray shirts. So if we have more deployable gray shirts, we'll be able to conduct more operations for extended periods of times. As we saw in Hurricane Ian, because of the lack of some of the gray shirts that were deployed or qualified to deploy, we saw familiar faces. We started seeing burnout. We want to do the simple things. So if it's getting someone up to date on their TR 101, if it's getting other things as simple that we need to do as far as volunteer leaders, as branch associates, as directors, to make sure that South Branch has as many deployable gray shirts as possible. Next slide. So again, we want to make sure that we deliver in-person training. We want to enhance that. And so what I talk to our leadership team, whether it's our volunteer leaders or our FTE leaders, is making sure that we increase every type of training that we're doing within the South Branch. This can be from CNG, this can be SAR 1 training, all the different rascals that we're doing throughout the year. I want to increase those. I want to make sure that we are getting our people prepared to go out there, because we had a lot of new gray shirts that had not received the training before they were deployed. The one good thing, and what we want to start doing, is more of those just-in-time training. If you've been down to Hurricane Ian, when we set up the RDC to provide that training, we train over 1,000 people to come through that, and we want to try to continue that, if it's not on operation, but in our traditional setting of training. And we'll be doing a lot of that, as you saw when we have our Patriot 23 as well. Next slide. Recruit more volunteer leaders. I'm so passionate about this because we really need to build our bench. We need to build our bench in mobilization, planning, logistics, finance, and communication. All those functional areas are so important to what we do. And if you have been out there, if you worked in a CNG, if you worked in an MPT, and you had to create those operations, or if you just traditionally worked as a volunteer leader in those functional areas on a day-to-day basis, you know how important those roles are. So I really want us to build a bench for that, and we're going to be measuring that, and we want to increase those volunteer leaders by 10%, and up to all the volunteer leaders that we have on our org chart. We want to at least have 90% of those positions filled. So I encourage you to talk to some of your colleagues, make sure, and if you sat in those roles, talk about them like they're special ops, and that the necessity, because that's how I see them. They're so important to us and what we do, having those volunteer leaders in those functional areas. And so we're going to measure that. We're going to really look at how we can recruit to fill those roles. Next slide. Increase engagement of deployable gray shirts. Again, we want to make sure that we have the quantity in the volunteers that are out there. For instance, when you look at what we're doing in Go Day, we're having some terrific events out there. We want to make sure that we increase the engagement of our deployable gray shirts. Let's make sure that they're excited about what we're doing. Let's do the storytelling. Let's share those events on social media. Some of you guys have so much experience in volunteering with TR. Share it, talk about it. If you're on a project, be willing to share your experience and how important it is, and how fun it is, and how rewarding it is, and the purpose that it provides you when you're out there on site. So we want to make sure that we're increasing engagement, and not only for disaster response types or recovery or mitigation type of volunteer engagement. We want to make sure that we're extending ourselves out to partners that have the skill sets, that have the skill sets and expertise in food insecurities, homelessness, all the things that we do that fall on that humanitarian pillar. You saw how we were able to pivot when we went into COVID, when we did the refugee resettlement, when we did the work around the Navajo Nation. Let's try to get people engaged even in the blue sky. So it doesn't have to be around disaster response, recovery, mitigation, and all those types of things, which we know that we're number one and ace in the hole in doing that work. But what I want to do is to be bringing in those people that are not familiar with that or familiar with TR to get accustomed to being around us in those blue skies type of events and get to know you guys as colleagues and fellow gray shirts. Next slide. Maintaining and establish those operational connections. And the branch associates have done a great job with doing that. You guys have assisted us with doing that. If you look at how we were able to maneuver and move about in Florida and Kentucky, it's because several of our branch associates, some of our operation support management team was out there meeting with those VOADs, meeting with the VALs, meeting with the EMs, creating those long-standing relationships. What we're going to start doing on that, we created a mechanism in EMS so we can make sure that we can get at least quarterly up to date of who is the EM, who are the VOADs, who are the VALs, who are those people on the ground that can make what we do a little bit more easier to impact communities. So this is so important in our goals. Before, say for the last 2 years, we've really been focusing on this. I want to make sure that we continue to focus on it. And I want to make sure that we're able to have the most up-to-date information. And I want our full-time staff colleagues to be able to work with our volunteer leaders as well, because I want you guys to understand and know those people as well. So as we have to build, when we're building an operation and it's out there and we're there for an extended amount of times, I want you guys to be able to step in just seamless as possible. In order for you guys to do that, it's all about partnering with your branch associates to get to know those EMs and those people on the ground that they know, so you guys can work hand in hand with them to build those steady relationships. Next slide. Increase positive post-deployment clients and community leadership surveys. As you saw what Drew shared with you, we're going to be looking at a lot of Qualtrics. We're going to look at a lot of surveys, because we want to make sure that when we're out there and we have that interface with the clients, the customers, the people that have been impacted and have been left to deal with some of the things they have to deal with to get their sales back up to normal. So you want to make sure they have a good experience with Team Rubicon. For the most part, I tell you, man, I love to look at some of the testimonials, some of the videos, and the smiles on people's faces when they talk about how they interact with us. What we want to make sure is that we capture all the good, but we want to also see some of the things that we can improve upon as well. Because again, if I was in someone's shoes out there and I needed Team Rubicon to tell me, I want to make sure that their interaction with me is excellent. And I also want to make sure on the other side that we're looking at them as our family, and we want to make sure that they're made whole. So we're going to really be looking at this to make sure the community partners that we partner with are being surveyed, whether it's EMs, all the different things that we partner with, whether it's different volunteer partners that we associate with when we're out on our missions. We're going to start doing surveys with them, because again, it's all about making sure that we're a number one in whatever we're doing, and this is part of it. Next slide. Increase positive post-deployment surveys for our gray shirts. And as you can see, Oscar, you look even younger on this photo. And you see how happy he is. You see how happy the other members on that team. We want to make sure that when they leave that deployment, that they go home with those same smiles on their face. That every time they partner with Team Rubicon, it's an excellent experience, whether they're working in CNG, whether they're leading the CNG as an IC, whether they're a gray shirt or leading a strike team. We want to make sure that when they engage with us, from the notification to the mobilization to the end results, we want to make sure that the experience for them is good. So they go home smiling and feeling good about what they just did with TR, and they can share that with their colleagues, with their friends, with their associates, with their loved ones, on how great the experience was with TR. So we're going to make sure. I know that I've heard in the past that several of our volunteers are not receiving those post-deployment. So partnering with our OSB leads, we want to make sure that we build up that number of people that are not receiving those. So we're working on that as well. But that is so important to us to get the feedback from our gray shirts, our colleagues, our fellow gray shirts, on their experience. And we want to show that we appreciate, we are listening to them. Because again, I'm a gray shirt first. And I want to make sure that when I go out and I'm, slinging that hammer, or I'm taking down that drywall and putting on a tarp, or all that type of stuff, or if I ever get the opportunity to be an IC, that isn't a good experience for me. And I want the same experience for our other gray shirts. So we're going to be looking at those surveys, and we're going to be holding ourselves accountable for if we have gray shirts that are not having a good experience within TR. Next slide.
So I think this next slide takes us out of goals and into recognition. Son, did you want to wrap up goals, or do you want to get that at the end?
Yeah, let me wrap up the goals real quick, guys. I know this was quick, but we'll get more details. We may also have this. I'm going to be briefing in February. I believe Ariel asked me to go in some details about the goals in February. But what I want our full-time staff too is to be able, when they're having their individual conference calls with our gray shirts, that they can talk in more details. But guys, our success is dependent on you guys. I consider you guys as colleagues, as fellow gray shirts, and we can only do what we want to do and exceed the standards. I'm always trying to be a high achiever. I assume you guys as well. And so I wanted to talk this through to you guys. I received this information. I believe it was, the days go by so quick since the new year. It either was Monday or Friday when I got confirmation of some of these goals. I love them. I think they're going to be able to help us know the direction we need to go in. And our job now is to help you guys and our full-time staff to work on the tactical way to get to these goals so we can achieve them. And I, with no doubt, I know we're going to do it. We're already doing some of it. I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of what 2023 looks like. Some of the things are new that we added on from the 2022. So that's what we have. I'm looking forward to working with you guys and making sure that we're able to achieve those. So now, time for recognition stuff.
All right, thank you, San. And like you said, lots of opportunities for questions on goals in the future. So hang on to them. I saw some fiery discussion in the chat. But now we're not going to kind of dive into that. Instead, we're going to shout out some of our colleagues. And to help us do this, Jessica Haynes from the volunteer management team is here to hop on and tell us a little bit about Culture Coins. So Jessica, over to you.
Cool. Thumbs up. Can hear me okay? Awesome. Yeah, thanks guys for letting me crash the meeting a little bit. I'm really excited about Culture Coins and starting to really celebrate them. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about them, the purpose, how to nominate, different ways to do that, and then I'll pass it back to San for some recognition. So Culture Coins, the purpose of this is to recognize extraordinary acts of service that reflect Team Rubicon's cultural principles and to inspire all gray shirts to be ambassadors wherever they go. It's designed after the military award system. This is something that was really near and dear to Jake Wood's heart, and so that is why he developed it after his military service. Nominations. So there's a couple different ways to go about this. Any gray shirt can submit a nomination for a fellow gray shirt volunteer or staff gray shirt. Nominations will then be reviewed by the volunteer management team and the branch staff. And then just depending on the award category, an additional review will be conducted by the board of directors and then all the way up to the executive team if needed. To submit a nomination, you can, if you have a TR email address, you can go to the Cultural Coin SharePoint page, and I'll drop that here in the chat. If you don't have a TR email address, there's a couple ways to go about it. So in the field, there's QR codes, there's Microsoft Forms that are available to you. But if you're like, oh my gosh, I need to submit something now, feel free to reach out to me and I can just drop you that link to that form. Lastly, so coins will ascend in esteem while decreasing in frequency. And they're awarded on a rolling basis throughout the year. So this is a great way to kick it off for Go Day. Just really excited about it. So I will pass it back to San to make some recognition.
Thanks, Jess. Thank you, Jessica. And I think, I don't know if you were supposed to go with this, but I'll hit this part of it. So guys, this is great. I mean, this is I think the initial stage of the Culture Coins. So we have 4 of our wonderful and well-deserved colleagues and fellow gray shirts that are receiving these coins. I believe only one of them are not on the call. I believe that's Ariel Rogers. But I just want to tell you, you know, we had 2, and I'll start with the Get Shit Done. We had 2 receive that, and I'll tell you their names. Jared Brown and the mighty Rodney Hunt are here. Guys, Get Shit Done. If we can go back one slide. And I don't know if everybody paid attention to what Jess was talking about with, you know, how they nominate these. when I received the nomination for, I think we had roughly about 5 or 6 potential recipients of the Culture Coins, and every one of them deserved the coin. Just some amazing work that people do, giving of themselves. And, 3 out of the 4 that I can remember, I know Ariel, Jared, and Rodney that I met personally on operations and saw them do some great work in real time on the ground. So it was easy for me as a leader of this organization and working alongside amazing people like the 4 recipients of this for me to say, yes, I approve it. And when I approved it, I told them about my personal interaction with the 3 out of 4 that I knew. And then when I read Wyatt's, I was like, amazing, amazing stuff. And so there was no doubt on me sending this up for approval. So if we can go with the first recipient, Rodney Hunt, for Get Shit Done, everybody knows what that means. And if you've met Rodney, you know he's there to get shit done, no matter what it takes. Whether it's him being an amazing chef, him being a traditional gray shirt, getting in there and making sure that everybody that's a part of what he does is seen, heard, and well fed. And I can tell you, me engaging with him for the first time in Kentucky was just amazing. And then I've seen him other times since then. But Rodney, I hope that that I appreciate, and this team hopefully appreciate that. We all appreciate what you do for us as a gray shirt, as a leader, and I hope you did. And I had anxiety when I sent these coins off. I was like, please, I hope these guys send these coins to the right people. So I hope that you did receive your coin, and if you can bring yourself on camera, if you have a couple of words that you would like to say, please do share with the audience. I saw Rodney. I don't know if he's on mute, but I saw him out there. And if he's not, and if he had to fall off, maybe he had to go get shit done. So the next
Yes,
one.
sir. I'm here. I just my phone
Okay.
went dead in the middle of this, and I had to get on Jeanette's phone because I'm in the middle of operation here for the West Pacific West Branch conference.
Okay, excellent.
So I'm working that event right now, and I'm getting ready to go into feeding everybody for dinner. And I want to thank everybody for it and everything. I didn't have a chance to hear everything, but thanks. And anytime you need me, I'm there.
Excellent. Thank you, Rodney.
Okay. I'll get with everybody later. I'm sorry. I just got to get everybody fed. I got 2 minutes.
Thanks for joining us, man.
All right, boss man. I'll holler at you later.
All right, take care. All right, the next one we have up for getting shit done. You know this amazing man. I've met him several times. Jared Brown is an excellent leader. Excellent. I met him on IC. I met him in South Carolina at a meeting we were doing, one of the EMs, and every time I've met him, I've learned something. He knows his stuff. He knows his shit, and he's so welcoming. The first time I went to greet to shake his hand, and he pulled me in and hugged me, and I was like, I don't know this guy, but I'm gonna give him a hug. And ever since then, man, when I see him, saw him the last time in Florida, we hug each other. It's amazing to watch him interact with people. He's genuine. His wife is just as genuine, so I can see some of her stuff. They rubbed off on each other. But Jared Brown, again, man, I'm not sure if I saw you out there, but if you're out there, step to the mic and say a couple of words and congrats on receiving the Culture Coin.
There we go. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Son. I just want to say thank you for the coin, and yeah, that photo. Looking forward to being back there. Here in 2 days, building a footbridge.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Jared, man. Looking forward to seeing you again, man, on another side, on another op again. There's a hand raise. Kathleen, I'm not sure if you did it on purpose, but you had a hand raised. Is there something you wanted to add in on this portion? All right. Well, let's go. Let's go to the next one. So the next one is everyone has a role. Know it. If we can go to the next slide. So we had two wonderful people, wonderful professionals, wonderful colleagues, wonderful gray shirts to receive this. Everyone has a role. And the next person is Wyatt Ringo. Like I said before, when I read how you were, and I believe you were going through EMT or medical school, and you were able to throw down everything and able to shut that down for a bit, get engaged with what we were doing with Team Rubicon, and gave of yourself, sacrifice a little bit of the education pathway to make sure that you played an integral role in what we were doing to impact communities. So Wyatt Ringo, I see you out there. If you would, please step to the mic and talk to our colleagues.
It's funny that Jarrett was one of the other nominees because he was the incident commander on my first op, which was back in Mayfield with the tornadoes. And that was the first time that I ever picked up Team Rubicon. I stopped at a gas station in E-Town and filled out the whole application sitting in the parking lot because I was so ready to get stuff done. It has been a wild ride in the last year with this organization. I am in the middle of building a resume to submit an application for volunteer leadership. Cough, cough, Kate. But I want to thank each and every one of you for all that you do for making this organization the absolute fantastic place that it is to be. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Ryan. And again, thank you for working with us as colleagues to make communities better, man. I really appreciate it. So as I said before, one of our colleagues, Errol Rogers, is not going to be on this call. He had some work-related things that he had to do, but he did send me and Drew an email letting us know that he wouldn't be able to make it. But many of you guys know Errol. The only thing that he has that I have against him is that he's a Chelsea fan, and I'm a Manchester United fan. And if you know anything about English football, that we're just enemies. I think the only one that's a little above Chelsea to me as an enemy is Liverpool. But as far as a professional, as far as a gray shirt, the last time I partnered with Ariel was during Hurricane Ian. And he's been just a consummate professional in everything he does. When he was with the Situation Unit, when he's working as on the readiness, when he's working as a planner, when he's working in logistics, he really put his whole heart into it. Now, I don't know if anybody's ever slept in the same area in a warehouse with Ariel, but make sure you're wearing your earplugs because he's a snorer. And I guess he's just very tired, but he snores. And I thought it was a Humvee when I first heard it. I was looking around like, where is that coming from? And it was him that was one cot away from me. And but he was tired, and I'm sure he is because he puts everything into what he does for us with Team Rubicon. And Ariel, I know you may go back and listen to the recording because you're detailed. I want to let you know that I thank you for everything that you've done for us and will continue to do for us in 2023. So thank you. So that is the last recognition award that I have for our Culture Coins. Thank you, Drew. I turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Son. And like Jessica said at the beginning, guys, these are going to keep coming. So please keep submitting them. There is so much excellent work that is happening all around this organization that we as the leadership team don't always see. So if you have an opportunity on an operation, on a service project, just somebody you're interacting with behind the scenes, that membership leader or that finance leader who's killing it, always on the calls, always getting new gray shirts, always making stuff happen so that we can get boots on the ground in the field. Let us know, tell Jess, tell your ops associate, tell somebody so we can get them recognized via these options. If you guys haven't seen the Culture Coins in person, they're really cool. So everybody will want one. Everybody should earn one just by virtue of everything you guys do every day. That brings us to the end of this call. Thanks everyone for all of the work that you've done over the course of 2022, for all of the work that we anticipate you will be doing in 2023. San, any final notes before we shut this down?
Guys, just to let you know, I just want to reiterate too, man, that I'm looking forward to partnering with you guys. 2022, even though I came in May, almost half of 2022, I've enjoyed every bit of it, meeting and working with you guys as colleagues. Again, 2023 is going to be a super year for us. It's going to be another busy year. You see some of the goals that we're trying to attain. I'm looking forward to partnering with you guys on that. I will be on the line for a bit if people have questions about the goals. You know, go ahead and pose them to us. I want to let people know this as well, and I let the full-time staff know this too, that these goals, you know, we're not looking to punish anyone if we don't accomplish those. What we want to do is set a baseline. And make sure we're on that right path. So once we are ready to forecast what we need to do in 2024, we have a baseline. Now I can't make any promises in 2024, so we should have the practice in 2023. So it's nothing's going to be punitive, but we want to just make sure that you guys have some type of guidelines on what we need to do and what we're trying to accomplish. Again, we need to work collectively as a team to make sure that we work on the tactics to get there. But again, it's going to be fun. It's going to be busy. There's going to be a lot of information sharing and knowledge sharing with all of us on this call. If people are not on this call, please let them and let them know to listen to this, because there's been some great information provided on here. In the next 90 days, we're going to have some super things that we're going to be doing. Let them know about it. Let them know about your Go Day events again. We have some great stuff going on this first quarter. And then for 2023, it's going to be amazing. And I'm looking forward to working alongside you guys. That's all I have, Drew. I'll stay on the call if people have questions about the goals.
All right. Thank you, San. Guys, you don't have to go home. You can stay here. Some of us have to hop over to an op org approval call for Williamson County, so those guys can get rolling tomorrow. But have a great night, and thanks so much for everything. We'll see you real soon. Good night.